Yo, what's happening, people? What's up, YouTube? We rolling. What's good, people? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? Hope you're having a sick Thursday. I've yet to go kill legs, so it's a sick Thursday for now. But I'm actually probably gonna feel sick later on and puke because that's how hard we go. And I'm not joking this time. But yo, let's break it down. Let's talk about it. Let's get into the meat and potatoes. Let's talk about this real quick, guys and girls. It's gonna be quick because there's only two tips. All right, it's gonna be real quick. Let me just pin this over here, real quick. I know the word is quick right now. I said that at least 15 times. Count how many times you heard me say that. I might give away something for that. But yeah, let's bring it in. Let's break it in. Let's break it in. Let's talk about it. So, the top two transformation secrets. I wouldn't even call them secrets at this point because if you don't know them, quite frankly, you've been living under a rock, right? But these two tips aren't just important because they're two tips, but they're also important because of how they're applied. And I want to just really strip down the misconceptions relating to it. Yo, what's good, dog? I see you. Right. So, like, there are a lot of misconceptions related to these two tips that I will call like it's not even like tips, it's just like a fact that these two things, if you know them and if you apply them, you're gonna lose weight. Like, that's pretty much what it is. So the first thing I want to bring to you guys and girls, the first thing I want to bring to your attention before I even give you any of the tips is just because it's green, just because it's like healthy or whatever, it's like fucking quinoa or avocado. Just because it's healthy doesn't mean it's gonna like burn fat for you. Like you can still be in a calorie surplus, which is something we're gonna talk about a little bit later. Which you probably heard me repeat a billion times. You can still be in a calorie surplus eating healthy foods, or what we'll call healthy foods. All right, but there is such a thing as healthy foods, and we'll also get into that as well. Harmon, what's up? Army Fit Geek, what's good? All right, I see y'all tuning in. What's good? He says, "You're the goat, bro. What's up, Jesse? What's up?" So, the first thing I want to bring to you, I just sort of talked about it for a couple of seconds. We're going to talk about it. So, it's just because it's healthy, quote unquote, just because it's brown rice, just because it's cucumber, just because it's salads, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to make you lose weight, burn fat. Okay. And like, I know you're not entirely to blame for this because it's pretty much the fitness industry that teaches you, whatever I eat, as long as it's healthy, I can eat as much as I want, which couldn't be further from the truth. Because for everybody, for their own, specific energy levels, for their own sex, for their own, physical activity on a daily basis, what they do for work, like there's a certain amount of calories that you need to consume on a daily basis to either keep your weight the same, gain weight, or lose weight, right? So to keep it the same, we call it caloric maintenance. All right, guys and girls. So caloric maintenance is to maintain your weight to be the same. So that eat an amount that's going to help your body stay the same. A caloric surplus is to eat to grow. If you're a skinny dude, want to put on some muscle, want to put on some size, you're going to eat more. Again, case dependent. It depends on what you do for work, your physical activity levels, so on and so forth, so many other variables. You're going to eat the specific required amount of calories for you to grow. Okay. And that's going to be a surplus because you're going to be in a surplus of calories. You're going to have more calories. And to lose weight, you're going to need to be in a caloric deficit. To be in a deficit of calories, eat less than the required amount of calories that your body would need to function. See, now we know this already. And for the love of God, I've repeated this at least 35 billion times on my channel, on my pages, or whatever you want to call them. Okay, but the number one thing that I want to bring up in conjunction to this one tip, to this one transformation tip, because that's one out of two, to know which one you want to be in, caloric surplus, caloric deficit, is to also know your caloric expenditure, guys and girls. Okay, your caloric expenditure. What is that? What is that? What does that even mean? Matt, what is that? Like, I've never even heard. What the fuck is expenditure? We talking about the movie Expendables? No. All right. We're talking about caloric expenditure. Okay, so how many calories do you burn on a daily basis? Okay. And this again ties into what you do for work. If you're walking around, if you're more active than you're not at work, if you are training, you're doing cardio, you're doing weightlifting, if you lift boxes at work, so many other things. There are lots of variables. Zach, I really do appreciate the weights, the gifts on TikTok. Zach Attack, I appreciate it, man. But there's so many variables. Okay. But the number one variable that I want to focus on that you probably have the most control over, if you can't change what you do for work, is the amount of cardio and physical weight training that you're doing. So, how many calories do you need to consume to lose weight? Again, it's case dependent. It depends on what you're doing with your own specific goals. However, something that is also just as important is how much are you actually burning? Are you actually using the calories that you're putting into your system? Nicholas, what's up? I see you. Sos, what's up? Jassy, what's good? Are you using the calories that you're burning or that you're intaking? Are you actually burning them? Because the thing is this, you can be in a caloric deficit and your weight still will come off periodically. Like it's just inevitable if you're in a deficit. But the rate of which, the rate of how much weight you lose per week, whether it's half a pound, quarter pound, even 2 pounds, 1.5 pounds a week, is dependent solely on your physical activity levels in conjunction to the amount of calories that you're eating or not eating. Okay, so the top two transformation tips that I would recommend to you guys and girls is number one, okay, be in a caloric requirement that fits your needs. Okay, this is to transform, not just to burn fat, not just to build muscle, but to actually do both at the same time, which is possible. Understand where you want to go with your body. And typically that's the easiest one. A lot of us know already just by looking in the mirror what you want to do. Like for me, I want to put on some muscle. I'm greedy. For you, it might be the same thing. If you're skinny, you want to get jacked. It might be the same or different if you want to actually just burn some body fat and just feel nice, feel a little bit more trim, a little bit more slim, a little bit more fit, more agile, athletic, right? Whatever it is for you. Number one, the top tip, understand what your caloric requirements are going to be. Okay. And again, it varies for your age, for your height, for your specific sex, what you do for work, so many other variables. Okay. But aside from that, guys and girls, what's the second thing? What's the second thing? Because this is titled the top two transformation tips. Okay. The second thing that I need you to understand, guys and girls, is even if you're in a caloric deficit, you still need to work out. You still need to, what we call gather sweat equity. You still need to put your effort in at least 3 to 4 times a week, bare minimum 3, 4 times a week, going to the gym, doing cardio or some sort of workout. Okay, so that you can actually burn the calories that you're consuming, even if you're in a caloric deficit. Okay, and that's going to help you build the muscle as you get leaner, right? Which is literally the best of both worlds. That's what you want. But the thing is this, I mentioned at the start of this live stream, and I said I'm going to be real quick. We're going to be real quick today, only 10 minutes. I said at the start of this live stream, I said, just because it's healthy, quote unquote, and it is healthy, these are healthy foods, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to give you a magical deficit. Like as if to replace the same amount of calories that you would eat McDonald's with healthy food, it would be the same if you're both in a caloric surplus. So, for example, just to make this super simple, if you were eating 3,000 calories of McDonald's and then 3,000, comparing that to 3,000 calories of, whole foods that are cooked at home, most people would assume that even if they're eating 3,000 calories of food cooked at home, that they'll get better results, or when I even say better results, that they'll just lose weight and the amount of calories would affect them differently. And they couldn't be further from the truth, because the whole game is really calories in versus calories out. How many calories are you intaking? How many calories are you burning? It doesn't necessarily matter, and I say necessarily in quotations. I'm going to dive a little bit into that. It doesn't necessarily matter where you get your calories from, technically speaking, but if you do abide by whatever macronutrient requirements are set, again, if you want to lose weight, deficit, if you want to grow, surplus, but personally I'd recommend slightly under maintenance at all times anyway, to gain or lose, to get the best of both worlds at the same time, build muscle, burn fat. It does matter what you specifically want to do when you get there, but in the grand scheme of things, you could eat McDonald's and have the same caloric deficit and still be losing weight. But the reason why I wouldn't do that, and the reason, I'll tell you why I'm telling you this. The reason why I'm telling you this is because I don't want you to have like a horrible relationship with like nutrition, a horrible relationship with like cutting weight. We'll say cutting weight, right? Where it's like, oh, every time I gotta be healthy, I gotta fucking eat all this food I don't like. I don't want to eat asparagus. I don't want to eat cucumber. I don't want to eat all these foods that just turn me off and make me feel disgusting, or at least I just want something like, a craving to satisfy, right? So I'm gonna let you know that there's a best of both worlds here. There's a medium, right? You can draw the line. It doesn't have to be all greens, all avocado, all cucumber, all quinoa, brown rice, and all the food that you really don't like to eat all the time. Okay, you can have some junk food in there because it doesn't matter what you're compiling your nutrients of, so long that you're abiding by your caloric requirements and macronutrient requirements. But the reason why I wouldn't go buck wild and make all of my calories out of McDonald's or pizza or junk food is because of the reason and the fact that foods can still be inflammatory. Like, there are inflammatory foods, and it varies for everybody. Some people have gluten intolerance, and some people have whatever your body's used to, whatever your body's it can break down. But I'll find if you eat more processed foods that tend to have more lactose, foods that tend to have more carbohydrates, foods that tend to have more other processed ingredients that could, disrupt your digestive movement, your bowel movement, your digestive system, you'll find that even if you do lose weight, burn fat, you'll still see that protruding gut. You'll still feel bloated. And the reason why is because of your intestines, your digestive system. Maybe it's not breaking down the nutrients the way that it's supposed to be broken down, because a lot of processed foods don't carry much nutritional value, and don't carry much fiber, don't carry much of the things that you really need to break down food efficiently on a consistent basis. So I would say a mix. 80-20 is the rule. If you heard it once, you heard it again. 80% in favor of eating clean, cooked, home cooked meals, and 20%, giving into a craving every now and again, even if you do have a craving, don't have a craving. And the reason why you shouldn't have a craving is because you should probably incorporate eating the foods that you actually like, even if it's pizza, burgers, every now and again, so you have a healthy relationship with it, and you're not on either side of the spectrum where it's like, I'm gonna eat all healthy, I'm gonna eat all shitty. All right, so eat healthy 80% of the time and eat what we'll call shitty 20% of the time, so that you don't have that overbearing craving. It's just like, okay, well, next week I'll have one meal that is a free meal, we'll call it, and this meal will either be a pizza, a burger, or whatever. As long as you're calculating the calories and figuring out how that fits within your nutritional requirements as well as the macronutrients, and everything's fine. Okay, I don't want you to be on either side, because when you're on either side, it becomes difficult to stick to it. It's not sustainable. Like, I personally couldn't tell you that I will never eat pizza and burgers for the rest of my life, but you do see my physique. I look like a guy who doesn't eat pizza and burgers, all the time, but I have it every now and again because of sustainability, except for when I'm actually prepping for a show. That's different. That's not what we're talking about here, because that's like athlete talk. That's like, you want to be the best in the world in the country type shit. But just to look the best that you possibly can look and feel the best that you possibly could feel, it's not necessary to be, on like a polar ends of the stick, eating all healthy, eating all junk or whatever, just because it's more simple. It's best to do what works best for you. And I personally would recommend 80-20 rule. So again, just to wrap it up, the top 2 transformation tips. Number 1, know where you want to be, know where you want to go with your body. If you want to put on muscle, if you want to burn fat, if you want to do both, there is a way to do it. Okay. Put on muscle aggressively, put on size immediately, go into caloric surplus. You want to burn and drop a lot of fat. You want to burn fat and build muscle at the same time, under your maintenance, okay, and continue to work out, do your cardio, right? But the fact of the matter is, you need to be able to compile all these nutrients, all these calories, all these macronutrients from a sustainable source of, or we'll say a sustainable pattern, where you're able to eat clean 80% of the time and eat whatever the fuck you want 20% of the time, so you can actually stick to it and you don't feel like you're handcuffing yourself to this diet. All right, that's it. That's all I got to say on this one, on these 2 tips, for top 2 tips for transformation. Pure Genetics 86, what it is, gang. I see you out here, bro. I'm gonna read some of the comments on Instagram real quick, then I'm gonna dip out and go crush these legs. You feel me? I appreciate each and every single one of you guys and girls for showing out as usual. You know what's good. Says the GOAT is back. Now you're the GOAT, bro. Appreciate you, bro. I see y'all. Bianca in the house is like, geez, let's have a Vegeta shirt again. Yeah, we're going Majin today. I can't really see because of the mic, but I know YouTube can see it. Everyone can see it now. If you fuck with Dragon Ball, you know what this is. What's good? Army Fit Geek says, do you eat junk food during contest prep? Depends on how close I am to the show, honestly. It really does depend. But generally, no. It's just not. It's not even like, so you are what you eat in a sense. If you have foods that are more likely to make your bowels inflamed and mess with your digestive system, that will definitely translate, but it doesn't necessarily matter too much if you aren't competing or anything like that, if you're just a regular person, because that can pass in a couple of days of just clean eating. But for bodybuilders, you want to be sharp. You want to make sure that each and every single day of the week leading up to your show, you can have predictable outcomes. So you know that if I switch to this thing, this is how my body is going to react. And playing with foods that are like, highly processed, takes away from that accuracy of prediction. And it's just not something that you're going to be consistently doing throughout prep. So if you're not consistently eating junk, I wouldn't do it. You know what I mean? And even so, granted, at least for me specifically, if I'm 8 weeks out of a show, usually 6 to 8 weeks out would be the last time I ever do like any like wild refeeds. Any other refeeds where I'm getting I'm just restoring my glycogen storages or replenishing it would just be a little bit more of the healthy stuff I'm already eating. Again, and more predictable, more convenient, more accurate. Again, I'll have all the time in the world after the competition to eat as much junk as I like. And for myself, I'm not really much of a junk guy. I only really like pizza and like burgers and wings. Like I don't even know all the junk food in the world. I don't really care for it. But that's a good question. So the long story short would be no. If you want to take prep seriously, then no. You'll make the healthy foods taste more fun. Bianca says, true, calories are still calories no matter where you get them from. Absolutely. But nutrients will also always be nutrients, right? So if your body can't digest things certainly or in a certain way, then you certainly need to switch things up so that your body can, optimize its digestion so you can get the best results without feeling bloated, without having difficulty, we'll say in the toilet because of lactose and all this and that, or gluten, right? So but I got to be careful with that gluten sensitivity and all that stuff. Death Grip, what's good? What's good? What's good? Joseph, what's up? Bianca also says whole foods are that are prepared at home. Jesus Christ, I can't read today, and are made from real fruits, vegetables, grains, and meats. Just have more variety of vitamins and minerals. Yep, 100% micronutrients, right? Like you're talking about fiber too. She also says on top of that, you are the one who is preparing it, so you salt, sugar, and other things that are going in. Exactly, you get full control. Again, it's easier to be more predictable with that stuff when it comes to prep as well. So I like that foods are generally salty and more sugary than prepared foods, and don't have as wide as a variety of vitamins and minerals, micronutrients, we'll say, but they still have some. So that doesn't necessarily mean they're bad. It doesn't necessarily mean they're good too, just because they have some, right? But calories are calories, as you said, right? But you want to always opt towards having the more micronutrients, more vitamins that are wholesome and complete from whole foods than you would from I'll call it subpar fast foods, right? Still, you can have it. It's not like you're a kryptonite. It's not going to just make you fat from eating it, but if there's better, lean towards that more than you'd lean to worse, right? 80-20% rule. Okay. Jesse says, how do you feel about daily green supplements? Daily green supplements are amazing. They're extremely convenient. However, I would still recommend making sure that you get majority of your daily green micronutrients from actual greens. Again, I'm not going to knock you because if you are taking daily green supplements, you're doing your diligence in a way that you can. But I would personally recommend, of course, the step beyond, which would be to actually make sure you've got something green on your plate for every meal in conjunction to having the supplements so that you can really top up the scale there on how much you're doing when it comes to macronutrient scale. So I like that question, Jesse. Bianca says, like you said, the 80-20% rule is a good way to deal with it because you're eating healthy while still being able to satisfy your cravings and enjoy the process and keep going. Exactly. As long as it's sustainable, you'll see results, not just for the short term, but for the long term. All right. Greg, Ice, what's up? I see y'all. Bianca says, because you can still eat junk food every once in a while. It's only when you start eating great amounts of them every day that it seems to become a problem. Things like that must be taken into moderation. And yes and no, because technically, yeah, like if you eat it every single day, you've got an issue with addiction, I'll call it. But it's mainly because you're not actually calculating the macronutrients and the calories that are going into your body on a daily basis because you're just eating junk food. You're just like ordering food and you're not like being mindful. You could still technically order, a whole bunch of crap, and I'll call it crap just for the lack of a better term, and you lose weight if you are abiding by your caloric requirements, right? But the way that fast food works and the sugar and the salt, it's just too addicting and craving for you to have a certain amount of it. Once you indulge, you want all of it. It's like how many of you guys and girls go into to the cabinet to get one cookie? Like just one cookie. Like it's not possible. Like you're gonna get one, and then in like 20 minutes later, you're gonna come back and eat five. And then before you know it, the end of the second day, all the cookies are done. It's just the way junk food is just wired like that, and you can't really control that much of a craving if you're only eating junk food, right? Especially because it's calorically dense. 3 cookies could be like the max calories that you have, as opposed to whole foods. You can have a whole 6 meals, and it would be the same caloric equivalent of like a pizza and a burger. So tell me, volume wise, which is more filling? Of course, the whole food, right? But what's more satiating to your dopamine receptors and your tongue? The 2 articles of food that will keep you hungry for the rest of the day, even though you've already your caloric requirements. So you got to be careful with that. Vieto, I'm going to read that question there on YouTube. I see you, bro. And I hope I'm not mispronouncing your name, Vieto. Just you're most welcome anytime. Bianca says, by the way, my day is going pretty sweet. I'm going to go hit legs right after this. So pray for your boy. You know what's good. Joe Bold, I see you, man. What's good? Sprite says, yo, Jaw. Hey, man. I don't know what you're saying there on TikTok, but I appreciate you. Thanks for joining. Vieto says, what do you think is a good response? Even though you do work out 5 to 6 days a week, are you doing in the gym? Like that's the thing, or not what you're doing. What's the goal, right? Because depending on what your goal is, there are going to be so many workout splits that you should be doing or you could be doing to help you get closer to your goal. So if your goal is like, just to throw it out there, to play like soccer or basketball, you're going to do things that more on the athletic line, and allows more movements and accessory movements, functional training to help you move in the way that caters to your sport specifically, whether it's football, basketball, soccer. But if it's like bodybuilding, then of course I'm going to give you pretty much closer to a generic split for bodybuilding, right? But honestly, that is a it's a good question, but it's a very general question because I don't know what exactly you're trying to do in the gym, what your goal is. So it'd be very hard to say. But you can hit me up on the gram. I'm sure you know my Instagram. I can help you out on a personal level because I know you got pretty much a big question to ask there. You're going to let me know what's going on with everything. And I'm not going to be on the live stream for too long. So if you want to carry that conversation on, definitely shoot me a message on Instagram. That's SCHWARZENXGGA. And that's Schwarza. I can't pronounce it for all you guys because you can get in trouble. But you know what it is, man. You know what it is. I appreciate you. He says, now you got the name right, G. It's Sicilian. All right, bet. Dope. Thought I was messing it up there, bro. Appreciate it. Subi WRX08 says, my girlfriend is my world. That's my case. No, you got me to laugh, man. I won't lie. That one clicked like the live stream, and I'm already gonna know who you're talking about because I people. All right, bro. So hit me up, bro. I see you'll be looking out for that. So the joke that I was laughing at right now says, my girlfriend is my world. If that's my case, then my world must be flat. You're fucking foolish, man. Subi WRX. I appreciate you. Thanks for the laugh, man. I didn't even know I needed that. Like, this guy. Yo, if you laughed at that, drop a comment on YouTube or in the video over here. IGTV replay. Oh, God. Yeah, I get it. I have the same problem with Cheetos and Miss Vicky's chips. There we go, right? You can't just have one chip. You can't just have one chip. ISIS B. Kyrie. This guy. Bianca says, that's why I try not to eat them very often. There you go. At least instead of trying to avoid them, incorporate them to a limit, but make sure that you're already pretty much done most of your meals so that when you eat them, you're full, right? Or you can spare one meal so that after you eat, many tricks on this. And you're most welcome, Subi WRX08, Subaru boy. I feel you, man. I feel you. I don't have a Subaru myself. I like them. I wouldn't get one, but I like them. I drove once when I used to work in an auction lot. It was it the BRZ? BRZ was a 6-speed BRZ. They're kind of zippy. They're kind of neat. But yeah, yo, you know what's up? I'm gonna go hit the gym now because it's fucking leg day and like it's time to go. You know what I'm saying? We gotta do what we gotta do. But I appreciate each and every single one of you for showing up and all of you people for not being sitting ducks and actually reaching out today. You were really, really engaged, and I really like that. I love helping out the folks. All right, so I'll be back again tomorrow. Stay alive, stay tuned, stick around. You know it's good, people. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. We are out the cut. Later. Let's go. Peace out.